Well, I think we're good people. We worked hard at our jobs. We probably taught right values.
I don't think like people are gonna look back and like, you know, as an athlete or even a student was like, oh yeah, I remember me with my maiden name, or, you know, even Haacke or things like that. But, you know, hopefully we just leave that legacy that, again, like that, we're good people.
Our biggest thing about the legacy is we can teach them all we want or coach them all we want, but I want the kids to know we care. And I think that's huge. I think that's what makes a difference.
My name is Warren Haacke, and I've been in Riceville since 1972. Coached here 41 years, taught here 34.
My name is Michelle Berentsen. I'm the preschool through 12 school nurse here.
I am the 5th grade teacher, and this is my 2nd year here at Riceville. And this year our class is big enough to be split, so we have 2 5th grade classes, so I am the co-teacher of the 5th grade classes. I'm the daughter of Michelle and the granddaughter of Warren.
I have my daughter is a nurse, and my granddaughter is a 5th grade teacher.
Amanda is my daughter, and Warren is my father, and we put the fun in dysfunctional.
Riceville, Iowa. Generations of families have walked through the halls of this school.
Your best teacher ever, right?
They're still gonna vote on that.
But these 3 generations have not been just influential on the Wildcat students, they've been an influence on each other.
There's still that tradition that is here, been here since day one, and like my daughter said, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. No matter where you go and what you do, it's home.
Michelle followed in the footsteps of her father Warren, who is a retired teacher and a coach.
It was great. Actually, my dad was a fun teacher. His classes were fun. I think the hard part is, you know, you could never get away with anything when your dad's a teacher, because my dad always said, I remember he'd say, I don't have to ask the kids what they did on the weekends. You just sit there in class on Monday and the kids would be talking about it all morning. So you just knew, and so I was always like, I had to go out of town.
I had him as a high school teacher. He was kind of my careers teacher in high school. So that was a lot of fun because my grandpa's been a big inspiration as to why I'm a teacher today.
And for Warren's granddaughter, Amanda, she is challenged each day to find and meet the needs of all her students. As for her own needs, she didn't know that it included a return to Riceville.
One thing that's most important is that the relationships that are built here. How lucky am I to get to kind of follow in the footsteps of my grandpa who taught here and was a coach for many years, and now my mom being part of the school as well.
Mom Michelle is the school nurse, a job that's been a challenge this past year, but a job made better surrounded by family.
I was so glad when she came here. It's kind of like she said, having family here. Though our school does feel like a family. We're small enough that I think you have those relationships you wouldn't have in a bigger school. But it's great when she comes down, and there's always a joke. She's my funny one.
Sometimes what happens outside of the school day is hard to talk about. But as a retired educator and coach, Warren learned over the years there's a way to be a light when life gets a little dark.
I think a lot of it was when you saw kids that you knew came from a bad background, and you know, they felt like because of their atmosphere they had to act out a certain way and be a certain way, and trying to get them to be part of the group and appreciate values that you were trying to get across. It was kind of hard at times, but I think, like I told you with the circle, I think a lot of them did appreciate it. A lot of them, that was one of my messages every time I had the circle. Every time I started, I said, some of you aren't going to understand what we're talking about or trying to say right now, but someday you will. And a lot of them have, so that, you know, that was very rewarding. And that, but it was kind of dealing with kids that always didn't want to get on board right away. And I always told kids when they played football, after the first day of practice, if you're here because Dad made you, or you don't like the sport, or whatever the reason, just go ahead and quit now, because I'm not gonna think less of you. But I said, if you stay, you gotta be part of the team. And I always said, football's not life. I said, but once you cross the line and we practice, then it's important. But once you cross the line and go back to the school, there's a lot of other stuff, a lot more important than that. So hopefully some of them got on board, and most of them did.
Changing lives along the way, educating and coaching. A family that may not even realize they were the ones receiving the most valuable lesson after all.
And the rest is history.
On behalf of the Riceville Wildcats, I'm Chris Nelson.